We all knew it was only a matter of time before this would happen to many manufacturers, not just Volkswagen here, but they have finally realized that the lack of physical buttons in the interiors is actually not a good idea. So what they're doing, they're actually bringing back the physical buttons. Admitting touchscreens are a disaster. This is what I've been saying for such a long time. Not just me. I know a lot of people just don't want to get rid of the touchscreens and just bring back buttons, because that is what makes sense, both from a design standpoint and also a safety standpoint. When you're driving the car, you don't want to have to, bounce around and try to press exactly the pixel you need to press, instead of just cruising around, looking forward and feeling your way to what it is you're adjusting. Now, the thing about this, these screens that we have today, the thing about when I step into a car, and this is by far one of the reasons why I prefer older cars today more and more than newer cars. Because when I jump into a car, I want it to feel like I'm sitting almost in a small sized living room with all the coziness that I want around me. I don't want to have any screens. I want to have high quality materials around me. I want the different smells as well from the different materials, different textures, and different click noises and tones when you're adjusting the features. And I don't want to, I sit in front of a computer all day, and then I have my phone. So when I jump into the car, I do not want to have screens in the car. If it was up to me, I think the Audi TT, the last generation Audi TT, even up until 2024, until they discontinued that car, that to me had some of the best interior of 2024, because it completely lacked a screen, if I'm not mistaken. You had the dials for the temp controls inside of the vent sort of design. It was a beautiful looking design, and that was one of my favorite interiors of 2024, simply because it just lacked any sort of substantial screen, except for, of course, the gauge cluster, which is great for the previous generation's Audis. You had it fully configurable and all of that stuff. A lot better decision from the Volkswagen design boss, and I'm really glad to see that they actually came to their senses now. So let's say, not just Volkswagen, there is another big brand that did the same thing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So Volkswagen brings back physical buttons after admitting touchscreens are a disaster from these two Car Scoop articles. I'm going to link them down below. The much needed reintroduction of physical buttons will start with the production ID2 All in 2026, and I do think this is going to spill over, of course, to the rest of the Volkswagen lineup. It should, because these slider buttons that they have right now, they're absolutely horrible to use. I've tried the new slider ones and also the old physical buttons and knobs, and of course the old one is going to be better. So Andreas Mint said they won't make the same mistake with touch-based controls. Good idea there. And an extra row of buttons can be found on the new Volkswagen ID2 All and the ID Everyone concepts. They finally realized what pretty much every driver already knew. Stuffing every function into a touchscreen is a nightmare. The company's design boss, Andreas Mint, has revealed that future Volkswagen's VWs, starting with ID2, will feature physical controls for essential functions. They will still keep the touchscreen in here though, which is totally fine. I'm not opposed to that at all, but the key features, as I've said in pretty much every video since 2022, key features still need to be physical. So in late 2022, Volkswagen made the bold and highly unpopular decision to ditch traditional physical buttons and switch to touch-sensitive controls on the steering wheel, and this unsurprisingly led to a flood of complaints. And Volkswagen admitted its mistake and promised to roll back the touch-centric design. Mint told Autocar that the next Volkswagen models will come with physical buttons for the 5 most important functions. We have the volume, we have the seat heating, fan control, and hazard lights right below the infotainment screen. Perfect, sounds great to me. No more endlessly swiping through menus just to turn on the heats. He also made it clear that this shift would apply in every car that we make from now on. Fantastic news. So the design boss openly admitted that the strategy following by his predecessor wasn't the right one. So he was not responsible for this. So let's not blame Andreas Mint here for this mistake of Volkswagen. He's trying to fix it. which is great. We will never ever make this mistake anymore. On the steering wheel, we will have physical buttons, no guessing anymore. There's feedback, it's real, and people love this. Honestly, it's a car, it's not a phone. It's a car. You don't want to step into your car and feel like you're inside of your phone with all these screens facing you all day, every day. You want to have this connection with your car, with the materials that are inside of the car. And that is another reason why I think just adding some more different pieces and different components to the interior is such a car design thing. I want to see a lot more of that as well. So the first car to embrace this much welcome change will be the extra row physical buttons under the infotainment screen display. It will be the ID2 all-electric Super Mini, which is set to launch in 2026. If you ever try to adjust the heat on the touchscreen while driving, you probably understand why this change was inevitable. Again, said it 500,000 times before. So Volkswagen will finally ditch the haptic sliders currently being used to control the media volume, navigation, zoom, and AC temp. Mint made it clear, though, that this touchscreen, as I said, is not going anywhere. There's a lot of functions you can have in the touchscreen, which is still usable to have in the touchscreen. I totally get that as well. And here you can see, I do believe this is the ID2 All, where you have, let's see if we can find the I don't think we have the physical buttons in this vehicle, though. Oh, yeah, we do have them right here. We have a couple of buttons here, but I think you can also adjust them here inside of the infotainment screen, if I'm not mistaken. This is the temp here, and then your heated seats. So you do have this is the row that they're talking about, and this is honestly everything that I'm asking for. I don't need every single thing to be a physical button, but it would be nice, I guess, to see that. Last but not least, we also have Hyundai making the exact same statement here. Hyundai going back to physical buttons because American buyers don't like touchscreens. I don't think it's just American buyers. I'm pretty sure European, Asian buyers, every buyer of these cars do not want to have touchscreens instead of physical buttons. Korean firm admitted it had been sucked in by the glitz of touchscreen tech, but customer found it annoying. The automaker's US design chief says American drivers hated the trend, so future Hyundais will feature more old-school switches. And when we tested with our focus group, we realized that people got stressed, annoyed, and steamed when they went to control something in a pinch, but were unable to do so. And that is, in fact, the most annoying thing. When you just want to boost the temperature, it's cold out, you want to jump in, it's down to low, and you start driving, and you forgot to set the temp, and then you need to do it while you're driving. It's very, very annoying to figure that out on a touchscreen. A lot easier, of course, in a dial. So when you're parked, using the touchscreens feels entirely natural. Not sure about that, though. But when the car is jiggling over bumps and you're taking the eyes off the road, to locate a digital switch, because you can't simply reach out and find it by feel, you know touchscreens tech is not without its problems. From here you can see the new interiors for Hyundai. You have this beautiful little section here. Actually, you have a Hyundai Tucson XRT to review right now, and I noticed that they added this this little feature here, or this control panel with the controls for everything that you need when it comes to climate. It's just beautiful to see. You can see it here in the Ioniq 5 as well. They added something similar to that right there, looking beautiful. So, car interiors, we might be heading in the right direction. I don't know what BMW is going to do, though, with the panel iDrive, I think it's called, where you have even less physical stuff than we had in the iDrive 9, which is a very impressive thing to accomplish, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if they are going to go back to physical buttons. I really hope so, because BMW, they are some of the, I'm gonna say it, they just have some of the worst interiors in my opinion right now, because everything is so minimal and so, I don't know, it lacks the soul that I'm used to seeing from a BMW. So I want to see these changes in BMW moving forward as well, and hopefully we get to see that within the next couple of years or so.